That's not true.
Well, you know
We
what?
don't have to, but it's not true.
When I moved into my grandmother's house, we had that done. And it runs down through the side of my house, and there's a pole cut in the curb, and it runs out onto the street. And mine runs 24/7, 365 days. In the wintertime, it's like an ice cream.
Yeah, no, that's
And I've
wrong.
had to put a sump pump in my basement, and that's why the water is
Yeah,
here.
I'm aware of that. That's what I was gonna say. Mr. Brian?
Yeah, so if you're concerned if your house falls in this area where it has to be a dye test if you're going to sell it, or if you just want to know, where do you find that information?
We have a map.
There's a big map back there. You just have to call and say, am I in the dye test area or not? And not you need to find out.
Who do you call?
You can call the office. The maps are back there. It's pretty easy to figure out. Anyone else? Dan?
Yeah, Dave Dam, 7 Shalon. I just wanted to thank you for getting me the minutes from the May meeting and what needs to be done so that we have minutes available from the previous meeting so that, you know, I can get a copy and anybody else who wants a copy. What needs to be done so that can happen? Because as I mentioned before, other municipalities put it on the website.
I have a note to put it on the website. I just can't keep up with all the work. I'll just be honest with both you guys there. I'm trying.
I totally understand. I just was looking for an answer.
Well,
That's
yeah,
all.
well, we're starting, we're gonna try to get the video on, and we'll see if we can get the minutes.
Yeah, I made a note last week that we are going to put them on the website.
Okay.
2 years.
Would that satisfy?
That would be fine, as
Okay.
long as there's something happening.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
2 years.
Okay, thank you.
What's that?
2 years of public records.
2 years. Okay, you got it, 2 years.
Okay. Engineers report, Mr. Minster.
Not much new to report. We basically, the road work is completed. There are a few punch list items that are being worked out. Other than that, the work is essentially complete. And that's all I have.
Okay, any questions for the engineer? Thank you, Rick. That's that. Can I please have a motion for approval of the June 13, 2016 regular meeting minutes? Motion by Mr. Butler, second by Mr. Ellis. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Committee report, Highway Health and Sanitation, Mr. Butler.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I mentioned, I had a meeting 2 weeks ago with my committee, part of my committee. It's been a little tough getting together because of work schedules and vacation schedules, but I've managed to have a meeting with the engineers every month this year. Last meeting was dedicated completely to an Elkasam representative. She is, I don't have her card, it's at my work. She is a, for lack of a better word, like a community liaison between Elkasam and the communities.
Gene Clark is from.
Thank you. And she brought an affiliate with her from another organization that helps communities communicate the consent decree to the citizens. We talked about grant opportunities that are available, which totals $85 million over 10 years that are available to the consent decree communities, which includes us. And just different ideas about controlling the water flow. As we talked about the downspouts and everything over the last, 15 years, right? It's been about controlling the flow into the rivers. And this is just another extension of that. She was very helpful, very willing to help. I think they're going to be at Ingram Bays. Hopefully I coordinated that enough that she'll be there with some information, and we're also going to get information to populate the website. She also gave us some giveaways for Ingram Days that I think Ms. Dixon has. And talked about the Elkasam's plan to acquire some of the municipalities' lines and maintain them in the future. That is in the future, right? That hasn't happened yet.
That's right.
Yeah, that's still in discussion. They're talking about acquiring the larger 10-inch or larger, I believe, trunk lines, and then throughout all the communities. So there was a lot of discussion. It was about a 2-hour meeting. And so now we have a real nice close contact with Elkasam, which I think is very helpful because my committee's work is definitely split between roads and sewers, absolutely. That's about almost everything we do. It takes up all of our time. So look for things on the website, look for things at Ingram Days, look for things at future meetings. I did have something here about, there's going to be a customer assistance program rolling out in August and September that is sponsored by Elkistan. So definitely look for that in the future. Other than that, the road program is complete. I have a motion for our last road crew hire. So that crew is completely filled. We're starting to work on Brick Streets, and Steve Palmer and his crew are continuing to inspect manholes, which is a big part of the consent decree also. And I think we have 100+ manholes, I'm pretty sure, within our community, so that's a lot of inspecting to do. That's really it from the meeting. Other than that, I have two motions. My first is a motion to recommend the Shakehog Joint Preventative Maintenance Contract for Year 6 be awarded to State Pipe Services in the amount of $112,675 as outlined in the engineer's letter of June 28, 2016. Ingram's share of the contract is $6,490. Do I have a
Motion
second?
made and seconded by Mr. Ellis. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolford? Mr. Nucci?
Yes.
And a motion to ratify the hiring of Daniel Schultz as a part-time summer laborer for the Public Works Department at a rate of $10 per hour. His start date will be July 13th, 2016.
Motion made, seconded by Mr. Ellis. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolford?
Yes.
Mr. Nucci?
Yes.
So that's really it. As I mentioned, our agenda for the next meeting is to clear up this list of citizen requests and talk about the brick roads a little more. Just make sure we're on schedule for those repairs. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chesler is not here. I spoke to him this afternoon. He was stuck at work. He said everything's going well with Ingram Days. He has all the contracts. You have all the checks for me.
Yes.
Everything's under control with that. They're going to be setting up starting tomorrow, and we're ready to go. He does have one motion. Would someone please make a motion to adopt ordinance number 4 of 2016 prohibiting tobacco use in Ingram Borough property, including parks and recreational areas? Motion's been made by Mr. Bennett,
Second.
second by Mr. Butler. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolford?
Yes.
Mr. Nucci?
Yes. And police and fire, Ms. Dixon also heading on to work early, so I have a few motions for her. A motion to hire Jason Goskowski as a part-time police officer at the rate of $16.35 an hour. His start date will be July 20, 2016. Motion by Mr. Bennett, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Butler. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolford?
Yes.
Mr. Nucci?
Yes. This second motion I'm going to table for tonight. I spoke to Ms. Dixon about this, and she wants to coordinate this with Mr. Ellis about, to see if we want to add some cameras up here or outside the building and do them all at once. So we're going to table this motion for this month's meeting until they get a chance to get those meetings together and do a comprehensive program with this. Any questions? Okay. Finance and support.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to bring up, we had met at the end of June regarding the newsletter that we've been talking about doing for a while. We have some phone calls and requests in with some printing companies to get extra pricing. I got pricing from one back, I haven't heard back from the other two. At the meeting, it was myself and Mr. Ellis, Mr. Nucci, Ms. Spence, and Ms. Twig. And we each got sort of something assigned, a group of the community to contact and see if they wanted to submit something for our newsletter. We talked about doing an updated version of this that was sent out in 2013, but it obviously is a little outdated now. Maybe sending something like this out once a year, and then something else out twice a year at around March and around September. We figured that would cover spring, summer, and then fall, winter events if any groups wanted to talk about that. And then we would put in different highlights for the seasons that we needed to have and things like that. So we're still in the process of working with that. We're going to meet at the beginning of August after we contacted the groups that we were assigned and discuss some more about actual specifics on that. So that's all I really have on that end. And then I have just the general finance motions for the night. The first is a motion to pay the expenses for the month of July 2016 as follows. The general fund, $21,621.92. The fire protection fund, $1,175.27. The recreation fund, $648.28, and the sewer fund, $4,303.28.
Motion made. Second by Mr. Butler. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Mr. Nugent?
Yes.
A motion to ratify the payment of the June 23rd, 2016 payroll in the amount of $25,300.69, and the July 7th, 2016 payroll in the amount of $25,638.93.
Second.
Motion made. Second by Mr. Butler. Questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Mr. Nugent?
Yes.
And a motion to ratify the payment of expenses on June 28th, 2016 as follows: the general fund, $306.94, and the payroll fund, $1,851.22.
Second.
Motion made. Second by Mr. Butler. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Mr. Nugent?
Yes.
A motion to ratify the payment of expenses on June 29th, 2016 as follows: general fund, $19,678.12, fire protection fund, $190.07, recreation fund, $696.53, and the sewer fund, $65.23.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by Mr. Butler. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Nugent?
A motion to ratify the payment of expenses on July 5th, 2016 as follows: the general fund, $306.94, and the payroll fund, $1,873.15.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Butler, any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Mr. Nugent?
Yes.
Motion to approve the real estate tax refunds for the years 2015-2016 in the amount of $244.91 as prepared by the tax collector.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by Mr. Butler. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Mr. Nugent?
Yes.
And a motion to accept the renewal quote for property and liability insurance from NRM Liability Pool Trust in the amount of $30,233, and the policy period is August 1st, 2016 to August 1st, 2017. The premium is $7,001 less than last year's amount.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded by Mr. Butler. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Mr. Nugent?
Yes.
That is all I have.
Thank you. Code and zoning, code enforcement, Mr. Bennett.
We did have a resident complaint about an issue they're having with a tenant neighbor, and it encouraged us to look into some of the rules they have down in Carnegie in regards to nuisances from tenants. I got the ordinance emailed to me today. I'll study it, look at it. Maybe that's something we can bring up and talk about at the next meeting. Adopting something similar in our borough that has some type of mechanism to deal with nuisance tenants of non-owner occupied properties. I said nothing else to report, sir.
And then you'll follow up with Dave Morgan about this.
Yes.
Thank you, John. General Government, Mr. Ellis.
We have two motions. Motion to authorize expenditure for craft heating and cooling to replace the air conditioner units for back office converter building, not to exceed $3,400.
Motion's made and seconded by Mrs. Wolford. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Yes.
And the second motion is a motion to authorize expenditure for craft heating and cooling to replace the air conditioning units for the police department for cost not to exceed $1,500.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded by Mrs. Wolford. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolfert?
Yes.
Mr. Nugent?
Anything else here? Nope. Thank you. Mayor's report, Mayor Stats.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a total of 234 police calls for last month, and we received a check for $681.13. And I also have some really good news. I have one person that is confirmed to do a farmer's market August 6th from 10 to 2 down at Ingram Park. And we also have a lady who's going to come in and sell fudge, and we're working on a few food trucks and more vendors now that we have somebody that's confirmed. And then we're going to also try to do one September 10th.
So we just have August 6th right now,
August
confirmed.
6th confirmed and September 10th.
Right, can you put that on there?
And we put that on the website, and hopefully I'll get more vendors on, we can list these.
Your time?
That's
10
it.
to 2.
And
Both dates?
Yes, August 6th first, I would put it down, see how it works, hopefully.
Oh, so the other one's tentative? The
Well,
other
we
date.
have the urban gardener, he's definitely gonna come, but I don't know about the food trucks and everybody else.
Go to Green Trees Farmers Market and just give a flyer to all of them.
That's what I was planning on doing. I just actually got an email today confirming, because I've been to quite a few farms already, and they're big farms, and they don't commit to a new farmer's market.
And doing the one right in Bridgeville before you enter Cecil, the other two biggest farmers markets around.
Actually, I've been dealing with the lady from the city, and she's been giving me names and numbers and people to contact. And actually, the one in Bloomfield, the manager I'm working with, said to go to there first, because they have actually the best farmers market around, he said, with the vendors and different people.
I don't know, I was just thinking local, that's all. Just keep it local, not the city.
thank you. Anything else?
Local, not the city.
Well, the same people go to the city and everything. No, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Mayor. Secretary, excuse me. Secretary's report, Mrs. Stegman.
Thank you. Our annual audit was completed last week, as well as liquid fuels audit for years 2014 to 2015. There were no findings or observations, and I'm beginning to work on the MMOs for the police and non-uniform pension plans, which are due to council by September 30th. That's all I have.
Questions for the Secretary? Thank you, Debbie. Solicitor's report, Mr. Brown.
Just one matter I'd like to hold an executive session on, pending litigation. It's Ingram versus Borough of Ingram, it's an arbitration case involved.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
There's an executive session to discuss pending litigation against the borough. Case is captioned Vandenbroek versus the Borough of Ingram. It's an arbitration case. Still can't hear?
Yeah.
I don't believe there's going to be any action requested during the
What's it for?
I'm not going to discuss what it's for. It's an arbitration case. You can look at monetary. So.
Anything else, Paul?
No.
Okay, thank you. President's report, a few items. I want to thank the Historical Society. They had a tree dedication ceremony here to rededicate the Christmas tree outside of Saturday. Very nice event. Thank you for that. Any contact with DZ's office? I had spoken about the senior program. We have a date set for that. It's September 8th here for this first senior program, and we'll go from there for additional programs. So that's September 8th at 6 p.m. And then we'll do the advertising for that. And I also, one thing, I think since I last saw Dawn and we last saw Sonia, we have a few new residents in the borough. So I just want to offer congratulations to Mr. Bennett for their new residents.
Investing in the community.
Thank you. Okay, any old business, new business?
I have something real quick.
Okay.
Comprehensive plan, I'm on the steering committee, Mr. Bennett's on the steering committee. Just a real quick update, they were at Crafton Celebrates. The comprehensive plan is the Crafton Ingram, grant plan to improve both communities. They were Crafton Celebrates soliciting residents for ideas and for assistance and volunteer for the initiative. They're going to be at Ingram Days on Saturday night from, I can't remember.
5 to 9.
5 to 9, thank you very much. It's on the website. If you could stop by and talk to them and give them your ideas, and hopefully also volunteer, that would be incredibly wonderful. I think we need help. We always need help. We never seem to have enough of it. Generally speaking, after the Ingram Days, Pashik is more or less done soliciting ideas from the community. They're going to hunker down for a month or two and start developing the plan. There won't be any more steering committee meetings, I believe, until after that time, and then they're going to present an initial plan, I believe, which I'll present to council and to the community. At that point, the plan starts to solidify, and then it's up to us to start taking action on it, which is where we'll really need help from everybody for it to work. In the meantime, some of the work they've done is on the CI Thrive website, and they did present these maps at the last meeting, which are on the site. This is a deteriorated properties map. They did talked with Dave Morgan and got an idea of where the concentration of rundown or low maintenance properties are. This one is a very, very low cost, reasonable proposal for improvements of the shopping center, which is privately owned, so that presents some challenges. But they're being very persistent in their communication with the owner. So check that out. It's mostly just tree. It's some sidewalks and some trees. They wanted to keep it very implementable and very affordable. And then the last one is a map that was resulted from the walking tours. And this is a walkability map. One of the 4 initiatives is walkability and connectivity between the boroughs. And this just shows some of the main walking areas. And the idea behind this is for this designated walking area to drive some of the initial improvements, since that's where most of the population travels for either recreation or for function. So pretty interesting. So this is about 6 months worth of data that resulted in 3 maps. So check them out when you get a chance.
Greg, one of the things you brought up was at the dilapidated property. There was a presentation at the last COG meeting about a land bank, a county land bank. And I don't know if it's a great thing or not a good thing. Mr. Garvin knows a little more about that. But it sort of facilitates tax relief to get these properties fixed and back to the tax bill. Can you talk about that?
Started out in the Steel Valley COG, and Lewis spearheaded it. It's primarily out in the eastern suburbs, but out in the county, just adopted an ordinance saying that they would join. So I think it's going to spread to the county.
Okay.
Because land bank actually acquires title to these properties and holds them and redevelops them to use. There's developers, some buy home developers, tax sales are already doing this. But this is a public way of acquiring. There's a lot of money around it.
Doesn't it expedite the tax relief part of it?
It also expedites the whole process. There's a separate law that needs to be done.
I don't know if that's a good thing for us or a bad thing. I think we love more.
I think it can't. Well, there's a financial contribution.
There's contribution involved, so, I mean, I don't know how long it would take for it to be paid back, depending on how much property you had, things like that. So, that's something I think we should work on. Any other new business?
Mr. Butler, I got a quick question. I mean, it's a little side note. You brought up sidewalks. The road that past Ingram Avenue, which enters the city, which is like a landmine, with the opening of Amazon and all those businesses, all these people are now walking on those streets. Who would I contact? I know it's city property, but would that be something about putting a sidewalk through there so that it's at ease for those residents?
Well, yeah, part of that's ours. Part of that's ours.
Well, beyond the sign where it says Ingram Maintenance ends
it.
here. But you know what I'm saying? You'll go by there anytime around 3:30.
And they're on the street. Right?
They're like walking down the village. It's not their fault. There's no sidewalks, so that would be the city to contact my people.
Yeah.
It's like at like
morning.
Oh, sorry, morning too.
Morning, yeah, but I don't.
Can I get your name and address for the
Mary Beth Burks, 17 Beloy Street, which my street needs paved tremendously.
All right, any additional public comment? Ms. Dan?
I just have a question about the police, the full-time and the part-time. Are they provided bulletproof vests? They all have them? Okay.
Couple things. One, the next neighborhood watch meeting is scheduled for August 24th at 6:30 p.m. The sheriff will be at that one. So,
What did you say?
huh?
6:30?
6:30.
You said the 24th, correct?
24th.
That's a Sunday. August 24th.
August 24th. Second thing on neighborhood watch, I know I was talking to Joe, but he's not here
I
this
talked to
time.
Joe, and I'll talk to you after that.
Okay, cool.
Great.
And I think that's it for that. I have flyers worked up. I have about 1,000 printed to get out, but I'm gonna have most of them with Ingram days with me. And then I'll get the rest of them printed to get out to everybody. And then that's it for neighborhood watch. My other thing is, since we didn't have a fire report this month, I heard that there was a call on Greenwood for a gas leak, that the response time was 11 minutes. Is that accurate? You don't have a response time, so.
I have a gas line hit by a contractor on June 8th. At the set time, I don't have one.
Just because 11 minutes seems like a
Yeah, I
long
don't know if
time.
that's accurate or not.
Mr.
I can't comment on it, I don't have it in front of me. Yes,
That would have been June the 2nd.
I have it June 8th.
No, this was on June the 2nd. It was in the evening.
I have June 8th, 3:04 p.m.
No, this
Okay.
was at,
July 2nd.
no, this was June the 2nd at 21:34, which is 9:30, about 25 to 10 at night.
Oh, okay, you know what, this report is June 3 to July 6, so that would have been the prior report. Let me follow up on that. You said it was June 2nd?
It was June 2nd.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, Jack's not here, he's been our contact person, so we probably have that. Okay.
And then there was one other thing with the fire thing that I had heard, and I don't know if we don't get them anymore. There was a call, I guess, about a kid locked in a car in the shopping center that they were responding to. But I heard through some contacts of mine that they filed a grievance because they said it's not in their contract for them to respond to those things.
Well, that wouldn't be we're not,
I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
we're not contracted with them for rescue, so that actually the police know. And so the police know.
I guess they showed up, so I don't know.
Yeah, they generally show up if they think there's any kind of trap or anything, but that technically is coercive, and there's a lot of rules involved with breaking into people's cars, because there's liability, because you ruin the locks. And they generally only do it with a kid trapped in the car, that's my understanding.
That's what it was there was a kid who
So
was in
then
the
I
car.
assume it was taken care of, not Jackie, I don't care, I can't speak to it. You know, Janet?
Samantha, are you gonna address
Yeah,
that
so I was gonna
reimbursement?
ask, and who needs to copy the lease reimbursement for her classes? Is that just Debbie?
Yes.
That's the documentation that she needs to reimburse her.
Okay.
And then Deb, I'm sorry. Debbie, I was supposed to come up on Friday and pick up those pamphlets that Jack picked up for the neighborhood watch, but I was stuck at home with a migraine and couldn't drive. So is there any way I can get those tonight? You said you left.
You have it?
Yeah. Thank you.
John?
Yeah, I have a question. What does the council decide about oversight of the ambulance? I mean, you have oversight of everything else in this community. You have oversight of fire, police. Okay, I asked this question several months ago if we were gonna have a committee that's gonna oversee emergency medical services. It seems to me, it's very simple. You form an emergency services committee, and they have to have some oversight on response and how they're doing things.
Yeah, well, that will happen. If you notice, it says police and fire, it doesn't say that on Ms. Dixon's, because that would have been a conflict of interest, so that's not gonna be part of that. So that's something for the organization.
You're just talking about it, or?
I'm sorry, anyone else? No, I said that's just something we're gonna do. Anyone else? Dave?
Was there a reorganization done with council, with committees? Because I see Ms. Dixon is back on police and fire, and she was on, what, code enforcement or something before, so was
Yeah,
there
I think I mentioned that last month, and I did, I was gonna switch that around. But anyway, basically, all I did was I put police and fire back there. We have a police contractor we're in the middle of right now, and code enforcement had always been with building and zoning, so I put that back to there. So it was a minor change.
Is this on the minutes?
I don't need to have that on the minutes, that's my.
No, I was just asking, because it just gives the appearance.
No, I believe I mentioned that last month, that I was going to be doing that. In fact, I put that on Dawn's thing last night. Sorry.
Yeah, the only reason I mentioned it is because it just gives the appearance of something not quite right. That's all I'm.
That's your opinion.
That is my opinion.
Some time ago, I asked Debbie for the expenses and the actual budget for 13, 14, and 15. And at the time, she gave me 13, 14, and the budget, but not the expenses, because she said the taxes or whatever came down, and when they could be done, it could be done in June. Well, this is not July. I'm asking the question, is it ready?
For 2015?
15?
Yes, the audit. I don't have the DCD audit yet, but I could print you out my audited financial that will be on the DCD report.
As long as it shows the expenses to 15, that's all I want.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, thank you, everyone. Motion to adjourn to executive session for a legal matter. So, Mr. Butler, seconded by Mr. Bennett. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned to executive session.